loaded with marquee star power this afternoon. It's time to send you to our nation's capital for a showdown between two of the game's premier starting pitchers.
Stephen Strasburg, when you talk about the best young pitchers in baseball, he's at the top of the list.
Bring him up, strike three call.
Tim Hudson, all this guy has done over the course of his career is win.
A brilliant performance by Tim Hudson.
And today in our nation's capital, it's Tim Hudson against Stephen Strasburg. It is a beautiful day here in Washington, D.C. as the fans file into Nationals Park to watch this matchup of the two best teams in the NL East, the Atlanta Braves and the Washington Nationals. And hello, everybody. Justin Kutcher alongside Eric Carlson. Eric, the fans are filing in because they want to see Stephen Strasburg. Everybody knows about him. But there are a couple of young studs in this game who are playing the field as well.
Well, when you talk about some of the great young ball players in Major League Baseball today, we're going to have an opportunity to see two of them. Washington Nationals, Bryce Harper. This is a big home run last night in the first inning. That pitch out over the plate, he drives it over the left field wall. His manager, Davey Johnson, speaks volumes about his ability. On the other side of the field, we're going to see Justin Upton. He's already had 6 home runs this season, hitting close to 400. He had 3 hits last night. Remember, he came over from Arizona a few years ago. His name was in the MVP race. These two guys, great players, but they're going to have their work cut out for them facing those tough pitchers today.
And Justin Upton now in the outfield with his brother B.J. Upton playing center and left field respectively for the Braves. It should be a lot of fun. It is April 13th here in our nation's capital, which means one thing. The cherry blossoms are blooming. We've got the Braves and Nationals first pitch and starting lineups coming up next. See a beautiful Saturday afternoon for a baseball game between the Braves and the Nationals. Here in D.C., this ballpark is actually now becoming a landmark, which, when you think about it, you've got the Lincoln Memorial. As you drive over here, you can see the Jefferson Memorial. You see the Washington Monument, the Capitol. We've got a great view for that right here, the White House, and then Nationals Park. That's the newest one of the group.
Yeah, I can tell you, speaking from experience, I've been out here since Wednesday with my family, and we've hit all of those spots. We've been doing a touristy thing. I tell you, none of them have disappointed. All of them great so far.
We talked about this at the top of this broadcast, that these two are the top two teams in the NL East. I think most people coming into this year think they will end up as the top two in this division. But how about Atlanta? The best record in baseball right now, 9-1. They have won 7 straight.
Well, and I think the thing that's amazing about what Atlanta has done so far, they've got a number of guys offensively that have not got things going, yet they're still going out, keeping themselves in the ball game and ending up on top at the end.
And last night they extended that winning streak to 7 games thanks to an error in the 9th inning by Ryan Zimmerman. But you bring up a great point. If it's a good throw, he still beats it out.
You know, we talk about the error by Ryan Zimmerman, but I think all the credit needs to go to Jason Hayward, the base runner at first base for the Atlanta Braves. He had a good lead, got down to second quickly, would have beat the throw anyhow. You see Davey Johnson there, the manager of the Washington Nationals. Wasn't a big fan of last night's ball game, but doing a great job. And you talk to any of the players for that National Ball Club, they love playing for Davey.
And Steven Strasburg just came in from the bullpen. He's getting ready to take the field here for the Nationals. And Strasburg coming off a tough outing last Sunday when he went 5 1/3, 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts against Cincinnati. You know he's coming out here with the mindset, hey, I've got to return to being the Steven Strasburg that everyone expects.
Well, and what has been typical for Strasburg in his career, if he has a bad outing like he did the other day, he follows it with something that is just lights out. You couple that with the fact he also pitches extremely well in day games, does not look good on paper for the Atlanta Braves.
Time now for today's starting lineup, brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss here for the Atlanta Braves. A little bit of a different lineup as B.J. Upton will lead things off and play center. Jason Hayward bats second and plays right field. Justin Upton will bat in the 3-hole. Evan Gattis will catch and clean up. Dan Uggla at second base bats fifth. Juan Francisco gets a start at third base, batting 6th. Chris Johnson at first, bats 7th. Ramiro Pena, the hero from last night in extra innings with a home run, will play shortstop and bat 8th. And Tim Hudson will bat 9th and pitch for the Braves. And of course, they will be facing Steven Strasburg, who on the season 1-1. A 4.38 ERA in 12 1/3 innings. And I think one thing to note is he went 7 innings in opening day, and he threw under 90 pitches. His second start, he threw 114, so they're starting to stretch him out more.
Well, he is starting to stretch him out, and Davey Johnson told us prior to the game that he'll look at the pitch count, and it's early in the season, so he doesn't really want to extend his starters, get into that 110, 120 thing. He's looking at anywhere 90 to 100. And if Strasburg can be efficient, maybe we'll see him get into that 8th inning for the first time in his big league career.
Unbelievable that he has never reached the 8th inning. But how about the defensive lineup behind Steven Strasburg, brought to you by Scott's, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. In the outfield, this could be one of the best outfields in the game. Bryce Harper in left, Denard Span in center, Jason Worth in right, around the horn in the infield. Not too shabby either. Adam LaRoche at first base, Danny Espinosa at second, Ian Desmond at third, at short, Ryan Zimmerman at third, and Wilson Ramos behind the plate. The opening pitch is brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. We are all set for baseball here in D.C. B.J. Upton, a good fastball hitter against Steven Strasburg, who has one of the best fastballs in all of baseball. And talk about getting off to a slow start. B.J. Upton, Jason Hayward, both guys, top 2 guys in this order, batting under 100. And there's that first pitch fastball at 96, missing inside for ball 1. Fastball's high and outside. 2 balls and no strikes to Upton. Three balls and no strikes.
And you see Strasburg seems to be a bit amped up, overthrowing the ball a little bit. Just gets the ball and goes.
.30 taken all the way, takes a strike. Strasburg uncharacteristic, 4 walks in his last outing. Big swing and a miss, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, and this just shows you the type of velocity that he has. A guy like B.J. Upton up at the plate looking for that fastball, and a 3-1 hitter's count still can't catch up to that 96-mile-an-hour heat.
The 3-2. Fouled back, stays 3 balls and 2 strikes. Another 3-2 from Strasburg. In the air, center field. Span going back, has some room on the warning track to make the catch in the first out of the ball game. One away now for Jason Hayward. We talked about the struggles of Upton batting .091, Hayward batting .097 to start this year, 3 for 31.
Yeah, obviously not the ideal way he'd like to start, but he can still impact a game like he did last night. He had 2 big walks. I thought the base running was the pivotal point of the game when he beat that throw that Zimmerman threw into right field in the 9th inning. And that's the thing, when you're not going well, there's other ways that you can help your ball club. And he stayed positive and helped them win last night.
Swing and a miss on 97 from Strasburg. No balls and 2 strikes. Jason Hayward has great career numbers against Steven Strasburg. 7 for 12. A .583 batting average. The 0-2. And that hits him. And that also hits the home plate umpire, Fielding Colbreth. An 0-2 pitch trying to go inside, and he hits a batter.
Yeah, obviously Strasburg does not want to hit him when you're ahead of the hitter 0-2. Just want to show him something so you can open up the outside part of the plate. You come in, you brush him off a little bit, and I'm sure Strasburg is aware that Hayward has had success against him as a hitter. Fielding Colbreth not liking that early in the game. He needs a break. Wilson Ramos coming out, speaking to Strasburg, giving Fielding Colbreth a little courtesy time to try to gather his senses.
It's one thing I love about baseball. If the umpire gets hit, the catcher will go out to give him some time. If the catcher gets hit, the umpire will go out to try to give him some time. And now Justin Upton, who has been on fire since joining the Braves, steps in with a runner on at first base. And the first pitch fastball is in there for a strike. Upton, 385, 6 home runs, 10 RBIs to start this season. And I think one of the best things, one of the coolest things, is to see he and his brother throw before the game to warm up. Missing inside with an off-speed pitch, 1 ball and 1 strike.
And that was the first off-speed pitch today. 12th pitch of the inning. Strasburg's just been relying on that fastball.
Another off-speed pitch, this time in there for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. We said he's one of the hardest throwers in the game, and that backs it up. Got him swinging with some heat. 2 away.
Well, that fastball just really, it's not fair to a hitter after you've just seen 2 breaking balls from Strasburg, and that's what makes him so dynamic. It's not just that he throws hard. I mean, there are a lot of guys that throw hard, but you have to have that secondary pitch that hitters have to be cognizant of. That's that breaking ball that Strasburg demonstrates.
2 away, and now Evan Gattis steps to the plate, the catcher, and the runner takes off from first base with a huge jump as the pitch is fouled back. Jason Hayward had that base stolen easily.
And that's where, as a hitter, Gattis will learn. when you see the runner get that type of jump where he could basically go in standing up as a hitter, especially 0-0 count, you could take a pitch, you can see something, let him get down to second, so where all you need is a single, you score a run.
Hayward on at first base was hit by a pitch. 2 away here, top of the first inning, no score. Braves and Nationals, and a check on the runner. But Evan Gattis at the plate, one of the great stories in baseball to open up this season.
It really is. I mean, come basically out of nowhere, 26-year-old rookie, makes the ball club out of spring, now hitting fourth for this Atlanta Braves team. We can talk about the journey he's had to get there.
Pops one up. Desmond coming over. Zimmerman shading his eyes, makes the catch for the final out here in the first. No runs on no hits. One man left on base. The Nationals coming up. Bryce Harper. He has been hot to start his second season in the big leagues. He will bat third for the Nationals. Brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you got to live Moss for the Nationals. And Art Span leads things off. Jason Worth bats second. Bryce Harper in the 3-hole. Ryan Zimmerman will back clean up. Adam LaRoche bats fifth. In the 6th spot is Ian Desmond. The bottom third, Danny Espinosa, Wilson Ramos, and then Steven Strasburg. And they will face the right-hander Tim Hudson for the Braves.
Well, you mentioned at the top of the show, Tim Hudson, all he does is win. He has a winning season this year. That'll be 15 consecutive winning seasons. Never had a losing season in the big leagues. That speaks volume of his stuff, but more importantly of his makeup and competitiveness.
Denard Span, the lefty against the righty. Hudson in at third base is Juan Francisco. And the first pitch is taken low and outside for ball one. Denard Span came over from the Twins in the offseason with good numbers to start off and lead off for the Nats. Shows bunt, takes the strike, 1 ball and 1 strike. What's been so impressive about both Denard Span and Jason Worth is how they will take pitches and they'll make pitchers work, setting up the rest of the order for Harper and Zimmerman and LaRoche. 1-1 off speed, changeup misses outside. It's 2 balls and a strike.
And neither one of the hitters are afraid to hit deep in the count. As you mentioned, they'll take pitches. Denard Span does a great job of extending the at-bat by fouling off tough pitches.
2-1 fastball in their first strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And it may not show itself with immediate results in the first or second inning, but where it really makes an impact is when that second and third time around in the lineup, where that pitcher has accumulated a number of pitches, guys have seen the way the ball moves. That's where the real benefit is.
Hudson's 2-2. Ground ball up the middle. Leadoff single for Denard Span. The defensive lineup for the Braves brought to you by Scott's, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. In the outfield from left to right, Justin Upton, B.J. Upton, Jason Hayward around the horn in the infield. Chris Johnson at first, Dan Uggla at second, Ramiro Pena at short, Juan Francisco at third, and Evan Gattis is behind the plate. Jason Worth, the right fielder. This is a guy who will see a lot of pitches. Doesn't walk, but he'll see a lot of pitches.
Well, he doesn't walk this year. He has yet to get in that walk column.
And the first pitch is in there for a strike. Let's check in with the third member of our broadcast team, Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Justin, today is the 8th birthday of Tim and Kim Hudson's son, Cade. He is their youngest and their only boy. And as you might imagine, guys, there are a bunch of kids coming over the house in Auburn, Alabama for a little celebration. Tim said that Cade is fired up to see him pitch on his birthday. And Cade, your dad wants to do you proud.
And in case you're wondering, Tim Hudson has faced Steven Strasburg twice in his career, and he's 2-0 in those starts. 1 ball, 1 strike to Worth, who's batting .286 on this season with 3 home runs already. Throw back to first base, and Span is back safely. Denard Span, one of 4 Nationals to have a stolen base last night.
Well, this Washington team can beat you in so many ways. They've got power, they've got speed. One of the best athletic teams in Major League Baseball.
Fastball misses low and outside. 2 balls and a strike here to Worth. Bryce Harper on deck, hitting a cool .400 to start this season. A 2-1 breaking ball in the inside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The top 3 hitters, Span, Worth, and Harper, in the last 4 games, hitting a combined .417. They are certainly setting the table for this Nationals lineup. Again, a throw back over. That was a bit closer. Span 2 for 3 in stolen bases on the season. And this time it gets away from Johnson. Span will go to second base. That's what speed will do for you. It should be an error on Hudson, trying to pick off or at least keep Span close.
Well, and that's one of the things as a first baseman, when the pitcher's over there trying to hold a guy close, all you want him to do is hold him close. You don't necessarily want him to try to pick the runner off. There, Tim Hudson trying to pick the runner off, trying to make a quick throw over there, gets away from the first baseman. It used to just drive me nuts as a player over at first base. Just keep him close. We're not trying to make the great pickoff move. In this situation, he gets down to second.
The 2-2 pitch. Line to center field. B.J. Upton comes in, and Span will be doubled off at second base. That erases the error.
Well, this is a breaking ball, and Jason Worth scorches it. Now, as a runner, Denard Span has to see where the outfielders are playing prior to the pitch. He reads the ball immediately off the bat. In his opinion, he thinks that ball is going to drop. Now, he reads it wrong. The only thing I have a problem with there is he's being too aggressive this early in the game with your number 2 hitter up. You've got 3, 4, and 5. The worst that can happen is you're at third base or you're at second.
Bryce Harper, first pitch swinging. Fantastic numbers for Harper on the season. And that play kind of boggles my mind from Denard Span. I mean, all you got to do is turn and look.
Well, it's tough. It's not that easy. If it were that easy, he would have just turned and looked.
Why not go halfway?
Well, that's the thing. He's trying to be aggressive. He felt that in his mind, he was sure that that ball was going to drop. He didn't realize it would have the carry on it. What I'm saying is, prior to that, he's got to know where he is in the order. And hey, if you get to third base with runners on, with the middle of the lineup up, you're fine. Or at worst, you're still at second base, but you've got 3-4 coming up.
2 balls and a strike here to Bryce Harper with 2 away here in the bottom half of the first. And Harper foul tips it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So you had a leadoff single by Span, went to second on a throwing error by Hudson trying to pick him off. Then a line out to center. Span gets doubled off at second base, 2 away, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes here to Harper. Hudson's 2-2. And that gets Harper swinging to end the inning. No runs on 1 hit, 1 error, no men left on. We're through 1, no score. Go further. And by Taco Bell, sometimes you gotta live Moss. Back here in Washington, D.C., top of the second, Dan Uggla to face Steven Strasburg.
And take a look at that right there, guys. That is your OPS. That's a number we're using this year. That's on base percentage plus slugging percentage. Your on base percentage, obviously how many times you get on base. The slugging percentage, the amount of total bases you have per at bat. You combine those two, we've got OPS.
2 balls and no strikes here to Uggla.
It's another way to measure somebody's productivity, and you can take a look there. Last year, Miguel Cabrera, Triple Crown winner, MVP winner. Pretty nice OPS there.
Just by curiosity, last year with Miguel Cabrera winning the Triple Crown and the MVP, would you have voted for Cabrera or Trout for the MVP?
No, Cabrera, 100 times out of 100. Just if for no other reason, his team made the playoffs. You take him off of that ball club, there's no way they're in the postseason. You take Mike Trout, who is a great ball player, off the Angels, they still finish where they finish.
Ground ball in the hole. Desmond, tough play. The throw not in time. Uggla beats it out for an infield single. Dan Uggla now with 9 hits against Steven Strasburg, the most of any player in Major League Baseball.
Well, this ball off the end of the bat, Uggla just puts it in a good spot. See, Desmond hustles over there, tries to make the one-hop throw to LaRoche, but Uggla hustling down, sniffing that base hit. Gets down to first base safely.
A leadoff single here for Ugla brings up Juan Francisco. Starting at third base today, off to a good start as well. First pitch swinging in the air, center field. Span has plenty of room. Ugla going back to tag, and he will just draw the throw, and it's a good throw by Span. This Braves team, they have some arms in the outfield. Excuse me, this Nationals team.
Well, the Braves team does too as well. An excellent outfield. But you see Denard Span not taking anything for granted. He hustles back. He gets himself set just in case Dan Ugla does decide to tag. Nothing worse than an outfielder just settling under it. Hey, I got it. I'm going to. And then, boom, the runner takes advantage of him. And plays like that in this type of ball game where the pitching is so good could make the difference.
Chris Johnson at the plate now. And the breaking ball, and Johnson bails out on it. 357, a home run, 2 RBIs. We talked about the depth of the Nationals lineup. This Braves team, they have a lot of depth. So much so that Freddie Gonzalez says he has to figure out a way to get these bench players involved. In the air to center field again for Span. Moving over to his right, makes the catch. 2 away. Time now for today's Ford Keys to the game.
Well, I mean, for each of these ball clubs, there are important things that they're going to need to focus on. The Braves, they've got to get to the Nationals bullpen. That has been so far the weakness this year of this Nationals ball club. The Nationals offense all game. Last night, they jumped off to a 4-run lead after 2 innings. The rest of the game, only 2 hits. They've got to stay on top of the team once they get them down.
And here is the hero from last night, Ramiro Pena. And he takes the first pitch fastball, first strike on the outside corner. Pena, 357, a home run, 6 RBIs already this year. He was a role player, bench player for the Yankees the last few years. And Freddie Gonzalez, as the runner takes off, Ugla from first base with Ramos unable to find the ball. Good base running once again here by Ugla.
Well, it is excellent base running because now Strasburg has to be careful with Pena. You can't just lay something out over the plate because it means a run. By the same token, you don't want to walk Pena because then the pitcher spot comes up next, and then the following inning you could have a leadoff hitter leading off the game or leading off the inning.
The wild pitch charged to Strasburg, allowing Ugla to get to second. 1 ball, 1 strike here to Pena. Fouls it back, 1-2. This is last night, Ramiro Pena in the 10th inning. He just crushed him.
Well, he did, and you can see that Stammen misses his spot. Catcher set up outside. This is an inside fastball.
It was just the 3rd home run of his career. Fastball is high and outside, and Freddie Gonzalez said to us yesterday at the batting cage, this guy's great. I mean, he should have been a National League player his whole career. He is a difference maker for our team.
Well, he said, you can use him better in the National League. Double switches. You can put him out there for defense. You can pinch hit. In the American League, you're not, because of the DH, you don't pinch hit much. You're not going to make double switches. I just felt like he'd have a lot more opportunity here, and he called it. Pena had a great game last night.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner on second, top of the second, no score. 2-2. Chopper foul, and we'll do it again. Strasburg at 29 pitches so far now here with 2 outs in the second.
Again, you talk about that pitch count. You're thinking probably somewhere between 90 to 100 pitches. Manager Davey Johnson there.
Two and two here to the switch hitting Ramiro Pena. Fastball's high and outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Tim Hudson on deck.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Strasburg go with the breaking ball here, just because he's got a base open. You know, now if you're Pena, you've got to just be sitting all over a fastball. You don't want to get beat by a fastball. If he can throw a curveball over, then you just tip your cap.
The 3-2 went with a breaking ball and missed. And Strasburg thought he had strike 3. So the first walk of the game issued by Strasburg.
Well, you knew that that was probably coming, just because if you throw a fastball, Pena's got to be sitting on a fastball right there. He gets a base hit. It's a 1-run in. Uggla's going to score. Now you can go after the pitcher. Sure, you give up the fact that the pitcher would be leading off next inning, but so be it.
Hudson takes the first pitch fastball for a strike. Tim Hudson, much like Strasburg, a good hitting pitcher, though.
Well, Huddy played a little outfield at Auburn, and if you look at his numbers collegiately, better than Frank Thomas, the great slugger that played for the Chicago White Sox. But Huddy can swing the bat, no question about it. Not afraid to tell you about it either.
And there he is in the hole past Desmond. Harper will come up throwing. The play at the plate. Ramos got it. We have seen him do it with his bat. This time he does it with his arm. Not even close. No score as we go to the bottom half of the second. By Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Bottom half of the second, no score. Braves and Nationals. Justin Kutcher alongside Eric Karros and Ken Rosenthal. Ryan Zimmerman will lead things off here for the Nationals. The first pitch from Hudson. Fastball tailing inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Zimmerman 235, no home runs, 7 RBIs. Had a big 2-run double a couple nights ago on Thursday against the White Sox. Fastball in there for a strike, 1-1. That was after Robin Ventura decided to intentionally walk Bryce Harper when first base was open.
And probably the right call, especially with the way Bryce Harper has been swinging the bat. Zimmerman hasn't really got going. Zimmerman did a nice job, though. He drove the ball over the right fielder's head. Both runners scored.
1 ball, 2 strikes here to Zimmerman. And I was impressed because Robin Ventura before the game said Bryce Harper already is a guy that you have to manage the game around. You know when he's coming up and you have to figure out what you want to do. 1-2 back up the middle, base hit for Zimmerman. A leadoff single for the Nationals. Let's go back the top half of the second and the great throw by Bryce Harper in left field.
Well, we talk about Harper and his offensive accolades, but he's got one of the strongest arms in all of baseball. See, he comes up here, throws it to Ramos, who is just waiting to put the tag on Ugla. Watch Ugla, though. He's going to make sure his helmet stays on right there. I think regardless, though, no way Ugla scores, but you've got to try to force that run there. Not going to get a bunch of hits off of Strasburg in a row.
Adam LaRoche steps in, takes the first pitch for a strike. LaRoche, 185, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs to start this year. Last year, very good year, 271, 33 homers, and 100 RBIs. And he grounds one to first base. Johnson steps on the bag. Now they have Zimmerman in a rundown. And he will be tagged out. So a double play here turned by the Braves. That'll be a 3-6-3. But not your typical 3-6-3 double play.
No, Johnson does a nice job because the ball is taking him towards first base. So you watch this here. It's taking him, boom. I can take it, boom. 1 step, turn and throw. And it's hit hard enough. He's not that far off. Zimmerman, not a fast runner. Nice play. Johnson also plays a lot of third base. That for Arizona. He came over with Upton in the Diamondbacks Braves trade in the offseason.
Desmond takes the first pitch low and outside for ball 1. Ian Desmond, 316, a couple of home runs, 3 RBIs, also has 4 doubles and a triple already this year. Got him swinging. 1 ball, 1 strike. Already 2 double plays turned by the Braves in this game. We've got that 3-6-3 unconventional double play. We also had the 8-4 double play. Outside, 2 balls and a strike.
Well, you can see Tim Hudson, a lot of movement on his pitches. His whole approach, try to expand the hitter's strike zone. Try to have them chase pitches off the plate.
2-1 bounce foul, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Celebrate the craft of baseball. For your chance to win a Chevrolet Impala and a trip to the MLB All-Star Game, visit ChevyBaseball.com. Two and 2 here to Desmond, 2 away in the bottom half of the second. 2-2 misses inside with a fastball. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The payoff pitch from Hudson. Fouled away. We'll do it again at 3 and 2. Ian Desmond last year put up big numbers when the Silver Slugger Award for the shortstop. 292, 25 home runs, 73 RBIs. That's what's so underrated about this Nationals team, is that up the middle part of the defense and lineup. You've got Desmond at shortstop, very good defensive shortstop as well. Then you've got Danny Espinosa at second. He's on deck.
Well, and the thing both of these guys do is not only can they hit the ball out of the ballpark, but they can steal bases. They're just athletic players.
Ground ball to third base. Francisco makes the play, and that'll do it here in the second. No runs on 1 hit, nobody left on base. We'll return to Washington after a word from your local Fox station. Nationals, top of the order, B.J. Upton to face Steven Strasburg. And the first pitch fastball misses up high for ball one. Upton 0 for 1, flew out to center field his first time up. We are joined here by last night's starting pitcher for the Nationals, Ross Detweiler. The 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Ross, thanks so much for joining us. Last night, a good outing for yourself. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. You've gotten off to a very good start. Personally, no record to show for it, but how do you feel you've pitched this well, and what's been the key for your success?
Really just trying to keep the ball down right now. Try to get some ground balls early in the count, be able to go deep into the games. But you know, I think I've been working with the catchers well, and they've really been working with me and really feeling out what I want to throw at what point.
The 1-2 got him swinging on a breaking ball. 1 away here in the third.
Ross, Eric Karras here. I've noticed the way you go after hitters. I mean, it's just a lot of fastballs, but a ton of movement. Do you throw different types of fastballs?
Yeah, I throw a 2-seam and a 4-seam up there, and it's something Kurt Suzuki, who's throwing seeds at me right now. I don't know if you can see that. Something he really worked, sat me down last year and said I needed to do, and you know, it's really been helpful a whole lot.
Jason Hayward steps in, takes the first pitch fastball up high. Ross, you were a first-round pick back in 2007. When you look at what this Nationals team has done, Steven Strasburg, a first-round pick, Bryce Harper, a first-round pick, the 1-0. What kind of competition is there? The trash talking that goes on amongst you guys.
You can't forget the original over there at third base.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
true.
You know, there's not much. There's competition for everybody. There's everybody who's made it this point. It doesn't really matter what round you're drafted in.
What's it like, the fact that you have all this homegrown talent on this Nationals team?
It's great. It's really made us grow as a team because most of us were in the minor leagues together, and we were all taking all the bus trips together. So it's you know, it's good. We're all comfortable with each other being together for so long.
Right now we're showing the list of draft picks with Zimmerman, yourself, Strasburg, Drew Storen, and Bryce Harper. 3-1. Swing and a miss there on 97 from Jason Hayward, who was hit by a pitch his first time up.
Ross, last year you guys had a great season. Obviously didn't end the way you wanted it to. What do you take from last year, or is there an experience, or do you build on it? What do you take from it?
In the air to straightaway center field. Span going back deep as part of the ballpark, makes the catch.
You really just you stay hungry. You know, we were the team to beat last year in the regular season, and you know, we kind of fell flat on our face there in Game 5. So it's really pushes you to work harder, and you know, it's never over. You never have it in the bag.
Looking at this rotation that you guys have set up for this year, it is fantastic, especially on paper. But what do you guys learn from each other? What do you take away when you watch each other on the mound?
We really just try to better each other each time out. And you know, with this guy throwing at the top of the rotation, it's going to be tough to get better than him. But you know, I got to get him to teach me that curveball so I don't throw as many fastballs.
No balls, 1 strike here to Justin Upton. Fastball swung and missed. No balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, but no, having somebody like Danny Herron really just kind of sells you down, teaches you how to throw in and out, and really throw with movement and mix up your pitches, keep everybody off balance. It's something we had in Edwin Jackson last year too.
The 0-2 from Strasburg, missing low and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. No score here. In the top of the third, we're speaking with Ross Detweiler, last night's starting pitcher for the Washington Nationals. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The count here on Justin Upton. No more sunflower seeds being thrown at you. That's a good thing.
I think Kurt got tired.
Ground ball to third. Zimmerman makes the throw wide, and that'll be a throwing error against Zimmerman. It looked like a routine play, and that's his second error in the last 2 nights.
But you see, he comes in, he fields it nicely, and he's got some time, moving a little bit, flips it over there, just doesn't get on top of the ball. Because of that, it runs away from LaRoche. Almost underhands it a little bit.
All right, so Ross, as a pitcher, now you're trying to pick up your infielder. Do you feel that added pressure?
Not really. I mean, I feel like he...
Justin Upton just stole that base. Even with Strasburg thrown over, that's the second time we've seen a big jump by a Braves player in this game.
Well, I don't know if it's whether they see something or there's a timing element right now. But as you mentioned, there's 2 times now that they've had excellent jumps. Even with the throw over to LaRoche, Upton's speed clearly beats the throw to second base.
Pulled foul by Evan Gattis.
So, Ross, how do you approach a guy like this kid right now up at the plate, Evan Gattis? I shouldn't call him a kid. He's probably older. He's older than you, but
he's way bigger than me too.
Right. But a guy that you haven't seen, you haven't faced, big burly guy. How do you go after him?
Actually, I had the luxury of him hitting a home run off me in spring training this year, so I know how to not go after him. But a guy like this, I just really want to stick to my strengths. And make him beat me with my best pitch and not try to do anything too fine with him. So yesterday I just tried to stay hard on him and really just try to make him beat me with my fastball.
1 ball, 1 strike. The count to Gattis, who popped out foul to third base his first time up. In the air, left field. Harper going back, looking up. Goodbye. Power against power, and this time it's Gattis who wins the battle. And the error comes back to hurt the Nationals. 4th home run of the year for Evan Gattis.
Well, we've heard the stories, and this is a fastball up out of the zone, and this has got to be 96, 97 up, which is tough as heck to catch up to. And Gattis just so quick, so strong. Walker, the hitting coach for the Braves, described it yesterday. Big man, small mechanics. And what he means by that, just short and quick. It was a great swing right there. Got to be quick to catch up to that.
No balls, 1 strike. The count here to Ugla. On the inside corner, 0-2. Hey, Ross, we appreciate you taking the time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Ross.
0-2 the count now to Ugla. Had that infield single his last time up. In the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He was then thrown out at the plate.
Well, you look at some of these numbers here with Evan Gattis. The thing that gets me is that those 16 home runs in the Venezuelan Winter League. I mean, that is tough to do. I spent 2 winters down there playing for Caracas. When I saw the 16, I said, you got to be kidding me. That is some sort of power. Ball doesn't fly down there. But we've heard about the power, but to see it, we watched him in batting practice yesterday. Just putting on a display. And as I said, just so short to the ball, which is uncharacteristic for a big guy.
The 1-2, swung and missed. That was our Ace Hardware Helpful Player Profile, brought to you by Ace, the helpful place. We go to the bottom half of the 3rd. Evan Gattis crushing the high fastball for his 4th home run of the year, and it's 2-0 Atlanta. Baseball presented by Chevrolet. Bottom half of the third, 2-0. Atlanta leading over the Washington Nationals after a 2-run home run by Evan Gattis to help out Tim Hudson. That came after the error by Ryan Zimmerman on a routine ground ball from Justin Upton. So here in the third will be Danny Espinosa, Wilson Ramos, and Steven Strasburg. And the first pitch fastball is in there for a strike. 0-1. Espinosa, 162, no home runs, 2 RBIs to open up the season. Fouls it back, no balls and 2 strikes. We caught up with Braves manager Freddie Gonzalez just moments ago, and we asked him about Evan Gattis and how impressed he's been. He said he knew he had the power. They saw him last year in big league camp, then this year, but to have 4 home runs already and turn on a pitch like that by Strasburg, that's impressive.
Well, and it's one thing doing it in spring training, doing it in the minor leagues, but it's translated into success this early part of the season so far.
Ground ball to Uggla, easy play, 1 away here in the third.
And if you talk to Gattis, he'll tell you that the experience down in Venezuela, just playing because the baseball down there in the winter is so intense and it's so meaningful that it almost simulates playing in the big league type atmosphere. The experience down there, he had a lot of success, hit the home runs, became kind of like a cult-like hero.
And I think he'll become a cult-like hero in Atlanta this year. Wilson Ramos takes the first pitch down low for ball 1. I mean, you got to love it if you're Evan Gattis, his first major league at bat, his dad's being interviewed, and he hits a home run. Ground ball, shortstop, Ramiro Pena. 2 up, 2 down here in the third. Let's go to Matt Vasgersian at the MLB Network studios for a game break.
Justin, Rays and Red Sox. John Lester off to a good start this season, but he has had his troubles against Tampa Bay, and so they begin this afternoon. After a Desmond Jennings base hit, Sean Rodriguez doubles him home. 1-0 Rays early at Fenway. Back to Justin and Eric.
Here's Steven Strasburg leading, batting with 2 outs here in the inning. And Strasburg first pitch swinging, he grounds out. That's a 6-pitch inning for Tim Hudson. We are through 3 complete here in D.C. 2-0 Atlanta. By Scott's, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball, and by the U.S. Postal Service. Schedule your free package pickup today. The Washington Monument under construction. What a beautiful day, though, here in D.C. Game time temperature 57 degrees. The cherry blossoms in full bloom. You have cherry blossoms here at the ballpark. They also have some good food here at the ballpark. However, I will say this. I came to the game on Thursday night. I was looking forward to getting a Strasburger, an 8-pound burger that they made last year at the Red Porch out there in left field right there. And I went in, they said, we don't make it anymore. What? I wanted to try to crush the 8-pound burger.
Your stomach thanks you for not doing that. They got the Shake Shack out there in right center too.
It's some good food here. Juan Francisco leading things off, takes the first pitch fastball for a strike. Francisco's 0 for 1. Flew out to center field his first time up. Breaking ball, no balls and 2 strikes. You wonder if this will be the inning that Strasburg kind of settles down. It looked like he was about to have a 1-2-3 third until the error. Missing low and outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. One, 2, fouled away. Stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. One, 2, got him swinging. Strikeout number 4 on the day for Strasburg. Three things you need to know about Stephen Strasburg. Wow, he threw his bullpen sessions at a local high school on his honeymoon in Hawaii. That's impressive.
And stayed married.
Breaking ball misses low and outside for Chris Johnson. You think his wife caught the bullpen sessions? That would be really impressive.
That would be impressive.
That's how you know she's a keeper. That's up in against Johnson. 2 balls and no strikes. Let's check back in with Ken Rosenthal.
As Stephen Strasburg talked all spring about wanting to pitch deeper into games, this is his 48th career start, and yet he has not yet completed more than 7 innings. Obviously today, a little bit of a struggle so far, in part due to the error that you mentioned, Justin. 63 pitches, and here comes 64.
And the 64th pitch now to Chris Johnson is a fastball that misses low. 3 balls and no strikes. What are you seeing so far from Strasburg?
Well, he just doesn't have the command. I mean, we saw at the very beginning of the game, the fastball is up out of the zone. The breaking ball is an unhittable pitch, but he can't get it over for a strike, or at least not consistently. So if you're a hitter right now, you go up there and you say, look, I'm not swinging at curveballs. If he gets it over, okay, I'm sitting on a fastball. I'm going to gear up for one. If I get it, I'm going to let it go here. I'm going to swing right after it.
3-1, hard hit up the middle. Nice play by Desmond at shortstop. Gets to his feet. 2 away.
Well, we talk about the athleticism of the Washington Nationals. Desmond does a nice job of getting a jump, ranges over, extends, gathers his feet, and makes a good, strong throw to LaRoche. You know, a lot of times guys, they make the great play and they're in such a hurry. They don't get their feet set. They have time, especially when the ball is that hard hit.
2 away now for Ramiro Pena, who walked his first time up. And the first pitch fastball is low and outside.
You know, Pena for me has had one of the key at bats today. And that was in the 2nd inning where he drew a walk, allowed the pitcher Tim Hudson to come out.
Broken battle, a ground ball third base. That is a foul ball.
And by allowing Tim Hudson to come up, it turns over the lineup. You know, as a defensive team, you always like to see the pitcher lead off an inning because that's usually an out. You usually have an out. You're going to the top of the lineup. And again, Pena was able to coax a walk and get Tim Hudson to the plate.
1 ball, 1 strike. The count to Pena, the bat boy. He has part of a bat. The 1-1 from Strasburg. Foul back, 1-2. The Braves come in having won 7 in a row, 9-1 on the season, the best record in the majors. Doing it without Brian McCann. Of course, Evan Gattis has come in, filled that gap quite well. 1-2. Base hit to right field as it drops in front of Jason Worth. A 2-out single for Pena. NASCAR and Fox head to Texas tonight with a preview. Here's Nolan Ryan.
Today, you're watching baseball. But tonight, things heat up in Texas with NASCAR on Fox. Side-by-side racing, aggressive driving, late race drama. Yeah, in other words, just another Saturday night in Texas. It's NASCAR on Fox, live from Texas Motor Speedway.
I did not know that Nolan Ryan is a NASCAR fan.
Well, now you know that. Are you a NASCAR fan?
Not really. And I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is crazy. Breaking ball and bending out of the way is Hudson. 1 ball and 1 strike. Are you a NASCAR fan?
I'm not really a NASCAR fan, but Jimmy Johnson from San Diego. So I'm a Jimmy Johnson fan.
So you're a front runner.
Yes, I am.
Another single for Hudson. He's 2 for 2. So Pena turns over the lineup for the 2nd straight time. And Hudson singles for the 2nd straight time. 1st and 2nd, 2 outs, and B.J. Upton coming up.
Yeah, I was kidding with Tim Hudson yesterday. I said the more impressive thing is going to be how will you fare in your at-bats against Steven Strasburg. And he gave me that old Southern draw. Oh, that's nothing. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. And I'm, come on, Huddy. So far, 2 at-bats, 2 hits.
And then you got to wonder, does he go to B.J. Upton and Jason Hayward, guys who are struggling, and say, hey, guys, look at your batting average and look at mine. Upton is 0 for 2. Fouled back. No balls, 1 strike. Ken, what do you have?
Well, Eric and Justin, Kim Hudson reached out to me on Twitter after the first hit, and she said, keep mentioning Tim's hitting prowess. It worked.
Well, he's 2 for 2, and he's hitting 400 on the season. No balls, 1 strike here to B.J. Upton. Struck out his last time up. Missing up high. 1 ball and 1 strike. 75 pitches already here for Steven Strasburg. 2 outs in the 4th inning.
And you see, this is what Washington teams usually do to the opposing pitcher, build up their pitch counts. But Atlanta, they've done that today to Steven Strasburg.
2 balls and a strike to Upton, who is now 3 for 35 on the season. Fastball ties him up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-0. Atlanta leading here in the 4th.
You see this fastball just up and out of the zone. Upton, you can see mouth open, going, why did I swing at that?
Pena at 2nd, Hudson on at 1st. The 2-2 missing inside, and now it's 3 balls and 2 strikes, and that will give the runners a head start.
And see, that's been the real problem for Strasburg today, is his inability to consistently get the breaking ball over. As I said, as a hitter, you just take that out of what you're looking for and sit on fastballs.
There go the runners. The 3-2 is popped up in the infield. LaRoche is coming in. Ramos, and LaRoche makes the call and the catch. That'll do it here in the 4th. No runs on 2 hits. 2 men left on. We're through 3.5. It's 2-0 Atlanta. first 3 thanks to a couple of odd double plays, but this is what he has done. Consecutive winning seasons to start their career. Grover, Cleveland Alexander, 19, Cy Young, 14, Whitey Ford, 14, and there is Tim Hudson with 14, which that's pretty good company.
No, that's great company. When you talk about Tim Hudson, he's always had very good stuff, great stuff at some points in his career, but what he's had consistently is a great competitiveness.
Denard Span takes the first pitch back to a breaking ball for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. Span singled back in the first, was doubled off at second on that line drive by Jason Worth. No balls and 2 strikes. All right, Eric, we don't have a quiz, but I'm going to quiz you anyway. We just showed that graphic. Who is the pitcher to retire with the most seasons without ever having a losing season?
Lefty Grove.
I'll tell you this. He was also a pretty good hitter. Okay, a very good hitter.
Babe Ruth?
Yep. 10.
Got a little help from my producer there.
The 0-2 foul tipped into Gaddis's mitt. And that is the second strikeout of the game for Hudson.
There's Tim Hudson as a member of the Oakland A's. They had the big 3. Tim Hudson, Barry Zito, Mark Mulder. But he was the guy. Whenever there was a big game, the A's wanted him on the mound. I said not only because of his stuff, but his approach, his competitiveness.
First pitch to Worth, fastball missing outside. And you talked about those big 3 with Hudson, Mulder, and Zito, and I think we had this conversation this week about the whole money ball, and give Billy Beane a ton of credit, but also the fact that they had those 3 pitchers and they were able to draft those 3 guys and have them come up at the same time under control. That was a large reason for their success.
Right, and it makes things easier. Plus, you had some MVPs and Jason Giambi, Miguel Tejada. You know, it was a combination of the approach. There's no question about it. But while you had a low payroll, if all those guys were on the open market, that was a $150 million team.
Right. And then, of course, what Billy Beane did is he traded those guys. Or in the case of Zito, he let him walk as opposed to signing him, but he traded them to get more pieces to help keep that team going.
No, there's no question what Billy has done over there with that organization just to sustain it to be competitive. I mean, he's done wonders.
2-2 to Worth, goes the other way. That'll drop in for a base hit. Hayward cuts it off. A 1-out single for Worth. And that'll bring up Bryce Harper, who represents a tying run.
You see this pitch just runs in on Jason Worth's hands, but what he's able to do is drag the bat through the zone and shoot it to right field. It's almost like an inside-out swing right there. Really the only way that he could properly hit that ball. He would have tried to pull that, he would have got jammed something fierce.
And I was so impressed watching him during BP, how far he lets that ball travel and how compact his swing is.
I think the best ever that I've seen it, letting the ball travel, having a short swing, Barry Bonds. I mean, no question. The greatest offensive player I've ever seen.
1 ball, no strikes to Harper. You wonder maybe if one day this kid will be mentioned in that type of conversation. Nice play by Gaddis. 2 balls and no strikes to Harper, who struck out his first time up.
Well, and this is the inning really to watch Tim Hudson, just because he's got to go through the top of the lineup, but also it's great he's been getting those base hits when he's come to the plate. But remember, he was standing out on base that last inning. You just wonder if that has anything to do with this inning.
2-0, fouled away, 2 balls and 1 strike. Hey, Ken, want to ask you, you talk to a lot of guys around baseball. What do you hear them say about this kid, Bryce Harper? We'll get back to Ken on that in a second. Give him time to think about the answer. Check on the runner at first. Back in diving is Worth.
Well, and speaking to Davey Johnson about Bryce Harper, you know, he talked about not only the physical ability, but the fact that he is truly a student of the game. He knows how to play the game. He knows the history. I mean, yesterday he came up to me and he addressed me as Mr. Karros. I mean, it just, the way he handles himself, it's been great.
He just thought I was a high school kid, so he didn't talk to me. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count here to Harper.
Well, and how about Davey telling us before the game, he likened him to Pete Rose. You know, Pete Rose played the game like every play was the last, all out on everything. I mean, that's an awfully high compliment.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Harper. Worth on at first base. 2-2 is pulled foul. Ducking out of the way is Tony Tarasco at first base. What's also impressive is this kid is 20, and look at his beard. That's a legit beard right there for Bryce Harper.
No messing around. Nothing compared to Jason Worth, though.
Who's trimmed his. So we gave Ken time to think about his answer. Ken, what have you heard from speaking to different people around the league about this kid, Bryce Harper?
Well, Justin, first of all, always appreciate the extra time. But in talking with some of his teammates, they feel like he's playing as if he has something to prove. And I asked Harper that yesterday, and he said, no, I only have anything to prove to myself. What other people think, I could care less. I then asked him about another theory in the Nationals clubhouse, one that says, hey, maybe he wants to prove he's better than Mike Trout. And he said, all I have to say about that is we made the playoffs last year.
2 away as a nice sliding catch by Uggla in foul territory. It kind of makes you think of the Kobe Bryant, LeBron James 5 is better than 1.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch these two as their careers move forward. Dan Uggla making an excellent catch. This takes the bat out of the hands of Bryce Harper. He's got to run a long ways. He's getting near the stands. Really an excellent defensive play, an important defensive play.
2 outs now, and Zimmerman at the plate with Worth on at first base. And the first pitch fastball's in there for a strike. And Dan Uggla had to go a long way for that one. 2-0 Braves leading here in the bottom half of the 4th. Fastball in the outside corner. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes from Hudson to Zimmerman. Hudson played his college ball at Auburn. Zimmerman played his college ball at University of Virginia. 2 fastballs outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, so far early on, Tim Hudson, where he's been effective is his ability to keep the ball off the middle of the plate. I mean, when he has thrown strikes, they've been on corners. When he misses off of the plate. He's not missing right down the middle where he can get hurt.
The 1-2. Check swing on a breaking ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Zimmerman had the single leading off the second, then was doubled off on that unconventional 3-6-3 double play. The 2-2 in the air to right field. Hayward comes in a couple steps, and that will do it here in the 4th. No runs on a hit. 1 man left on base. Justin Upton drew up second in the inning. He has been on fire since coming over to Atlanta. Strasburg that many expected, but his team trails 2-0 here in the 5th. Jason Hayward leading off. Missed the first pitch fastball, no balls and 1 strike. Hayward was hit by a pitch in the first on an 0-2 count and then flew out to center field in the 3rd. The 0-1 from Strasburg. Fastball tail is low and outside. One ball, 1 strike. Big swing and a miss. 1-2.
Well, we talk about how much Steven Strasburg has labored today. The reality is it's a 2-run ball game. That the pitch that Evan Gattis hit out was a fastball up out of the zone. And he's kept his ball club in the ball game.
1-2 breaking ball misses. 2-2. Both the runs are unearned after the error by Zimmerman. That's when Gattis went deep.
You know, and that's the mark of a maturing pitcher. Somebody that when they don't have their good stuff can still go out and be competitive and keep his team right in line. I mean, he clearly does not have his stuff today.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Hayward. The payoff pitch. Fouled back. We'll do it again. It really is incredible what you said, what Ken said, that he has yet to pitch past the 7th inning in his major league career.
Well, you figure though last year Davey had him on a leash.
In the air to center field. Span going back on the warning track by the wall, makes the catch. Justin Upton coming up, came over in the trade, joined his brother B.J. Upton in the outfield. These are some of the famous brothers. Paul and Lloyd Wainer, Jesus, Matty, and Felipe Alou with the Giants. And then the Aaron brothers, Hank and Tommy, for the Braves. And now you've got the Upton brothers joining the group. Justin in this game is 0 for 2, scored a run, stole a base. And the first pitch is low and outside for ball 1. Ken Rosenthal is with Justin and BJ's dad, Manny, and this has to be quite a moment for Manny Upton.
No doubt, Justin, and this is Manny Upton, Boss Man Sr., BJ is Boss Man Jr. Now, for a while you had Justin in Arizona, you had BJ in Tampa Bay, and you live in Virginia. How much easier is it now that they're on the same team playing fairly close to home?
Life is very easy. It was tough going from coast to coast, and certainly BJ and Justin remind you if you saw one more than the other, so we had to make sure we saw one at least once a month, saw both of them once a month. So, but now we get to see them both the same place.
A swinging bunts, and then it's a ground out for Justin.
Now, Manny, I've got to ask you. You mentioned that they get a little jealous of each other. Did they play nicely together as children?
It was tough because BJ was 3 years older. He didn't take it easy on his brother, but it made Justin tougher and better. But BJ never took it easy on him. When they played the games in the backyard, Justin had to hit twice where BJ hit once. So,
now, last question: if I was a father and I had a kid on a team, and that team talked about trading him for more than 2 years, I would have been a little upset. What was your reaction to what the Diamondbacks did with Justin over these past couple of years?
I think I handled it a little better than my wife. She didn't like it at all. But, you know, it was tough for him. You know, he enjoyed playing in Arizona, and you know, he got along with all his teammates. And it was tough because it was, I guess, either trade him or not. You know, it was dangling out there. But he got adjusted to it and started playing. You know, he started playing well. So I just told him, just go play. It's not out of your control.
Now, how much more comfortable is he now in Atlanta?
He got his brother playing with him, so and Mom and Dad get to see him a lot more, so it's a lot more fun.
All right, Manny. Thanks a lot. Justin, back to you.
Thanks, Ken. Thank you to Manny Upton as well. I can't imagine what that must be like as a dad to see your 2 kids playing Major League Baseball in the same outfield. That is just awesome. And not to mention, but Ryan Zimmerman at third base was B.J. Upton's teammate in travel ball growing up, and then he was drafted the same year that Justin Upton was drafted. 1-2 fastball to Gattis, misses outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Evan Gattis had the 2-run home run, the only 2 runs of this game thus far. That was his 4th home run of the season.
You can pretty much guess he's going to get a curveball here. There it is. And seen a lot more curveballs this at bat. You know, his first 2 at bats, he's seen nothing but fastballs. So far, 3 curveballs this time up.
We saw him pull the ball to left center field for his home run. We saw him go opposite field yesterday in batting practice with tremendous power.
But I'm not sure we've seen curveballs.
2-2, got him swinging on the fastball. The first 1-2-3 inning of the game worked by Strasburg. 2-0 Atlanta. Is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's never stop improving. We go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. 2-0. Braves lead the Nationals on a 2-run home run by Evan Gattis. Tim Hudson, he's dealing so far into the 5th, giving up just 2 hits. Faced 1 over the minimum. Adam LaRoche will lead things off here in the 5th inning. And the first pitch is in there for a strike. Adam LaRoche signed a 2-year contract with the Nationals after his big year last year. 271, 33 home runs, 100 RBIs. No balls and 2 strikes. And Davey Johnson was quite vocal about getting LaRoche back to this team for this year.
Well, what he means to the infield, just as far as the Gold Glove caliber ability he has over at first base, as well as his experience, the way he handles himself in the clubhouse, a quiet leader.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Just flat out solid. I mean, somebody that a manager doesn't have to worry about.
1-2, pull to second. Ugla from the outfield grass. 1 away. Let's go to Matt Vasgersian at the MLB Network studios for a game break.
To the frozen-friendly confines, Justin. San Francisco's broken a scoreless tie thanks to a Gregor Blanco RBI single. 1 is all the Giants get, however, as the inning ends with Blanco caught between first and second. Giants trying to beat the Cubs for the 9th time in the last 11 matchups. Back to you guys in D.C.
By the way, I think seeing those highlights, we're winning with our weather here versus the weather at Wrigley.
Yeah, no question about it. It was actually real warm here a couple days ago. In the 80s, low 90s.
You just saw Jeff Samardzija, the numbers he's putting up for Chicago.
Yeah, not a lot of fun to hit against, especially if it's cold weather, too. Has a lot of movement, great slider.
And Desmond pops one up in the infield. Francisco at third base there for the catch, and quickly 2 up, 2 down here in the 5th. What is that like as a hitter going into a game when it may be 35 degrees and you're facing a pitcher like a Jeff Samardzija?
Well, sometimes it actually works to your benefit because you're not trying to do too much up at the plate. All you're trying to do is short, easy swing, get the barrel on the ball. You're not up there trying to, oh, I'm going deep this time or anything like that. Well, granted, it's not fun and you just don't like hitting in that weather, but sometimes it can help you.
2 away now for Danny Espinosa. Grounded out to second base his first time up, and he sends one deep to right field. Hayward turns and looks. 2-1 ball game. The first home run of the year for Danny Espinosa.
Well, Davey Johnson telling us that this lineup, there is no easy out, and anybody can get you. They can drive the ball out of the park. They can hit a ball in the gap. They can work the count.
Espinosa had 17 home runs last year, his first this year. 2-1 game now. Wilson Ramos at the plate. First pitch swing to the gap in right center field. There's Hayward over to close it up and make the catch, and that will do it. But the Nats get on the board with a solo shot by Espinosa. We're through 5, 2-1 ball game. Chevrolet, find new roads, and sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Top of the 6th here in D.C. at Nationals Park. 2-1 ball game. Braves leading the Nationals. Justin Kutcher alongside Eric Karros and Ken Rosenthal. It'll be Dan Uggla, Juan Francisco, and Chris Johnson here to face Steven Strasburg. Strasburg has not had his best stuff, but struck out Gaddis to end the 5th. He's got 5 strikeouts through 5 innings. And the first pitch breaking ball to Uggla's in there for a strike. Uggla 1 for 2, infield single back in the 2nd, and he struck out in the 3rd.
And when he gets that curveball over like that, he's unhittable. He really is.
High and outside, 1-1.
As a hitter, there's just no way that you can hit that curveball and worry about the 96, 97 mile-an-hour fastball.
Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. 3 things you need to know about Dan Uggla. Did not know it meant owl in Spanish. Excuse me, in Swedish. And didn't know I can't read. Up high, 3 balls and a strike. Went to Bucky Dent's baseball camp in Florida. And was not drafted out of high school. The 100th pitch of the game coming up here for Strasburg. No action right now in the bullpen. Ground ball, third base. Zimmerman, nice play. Spins and throws. And LaRoche able to stay on the bag for the out. Fielding Colbreth behind the plate. He's mic'd up. Let's check the sounds of the game.
How we doing?
Good. How you doing?
All right.
Woke you up, huh?
Yeah, it's time to go, isn't it? No, I'm fine. It's just right above the knee. Everything's cool. Let's go, boys. You guys ready? Appreciate it. Yeah, everything's good. Thanks.
Very cool. 1 away now for Juan Francisco. No balls and 1 strike to Francisco, is 0 for 2. Flew out to center and struck out his last time up.
And you see Strasburg at the pitch count of 101. More than likely this will be the last inning.
Outside with the fastball, 1 ball and 1 strike. But as you've said, the fact that he has not had his command, he's not had his best stuff. He's gone 5 1/3, given up 5 hits and no earned runs.
No earned runs. I mean, that's the ironic thing. He's kept his team in the game, but really he's still dominated this Atlanta lineup. I mean, outside of the 1 pitch to Gaddis, it again was not a bad pitch, and Gaddis just jumped on it. Out of the zone, fastball at 96, 97, but that just tells you how dominant his stuff is.
1-2 breaking balls in the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And you can just see that, that breaking ball getting away from him just has not had his command at all.
And that breaking ball is so good that teams are taking the approach now, hey, we're going to swing early in the at bat, try to get the fastball because we don't want to face the breaking ball.
Well, again, the approach, it was much like Randy Johnson facing him with the slider and fastball. Look, if he's getting his slider over at 91, 92, just, hey, good for him.
2-2, got him chasing with a changeup. And that is strikeout number 6. Fox Saturday Baseball returns next week with another 3 great matchups as Triple Crown winner Miguel Cabrera and the Tigers take on Mike Trout and the Angels. These Nationals head to New York to battle the Mets, or the Twins and the White Sox. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Chevrolet returns next week at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Two outs here in the 6th now for Chris Johnson. He takes the first pitch low and outside for ball 1. Many people are picking these Nationals and the Tigers that we'll see next week to be a World Series matchup this year.
Well, that's a pretty safe pick. You look at these teams on paper and they have all the elements of a World Series winner. Again, long season, health is an issue. Just as we've seen in the last few days, Jose Reyes with the Toronto Blue Jays, he goes down. Zach Greinke of the Los Angeles Dodgers, he's going to be out a period of time. Those are things that you just can't control and you can't really prepare for. But if both of these teams stay healthy, they're about as good a teams as there are in the major leagues.
2-1. Good changeup. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
See the off speed right there.
It's pretty scary that his changeup is 88 to 91 miles per hour. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pitch number 110 coming up here for Strasburg. Looking for back-to-back strikeouts. It's fouled away. We'll do it again at 2-2. Chris Johnson had the home run last night in the 7th inning. That was against Detweiler. And that was how the Braves started to chip away, getting a run in the 7th, getting a run in the 8th, getting 2 in the 9th. 2-2 breaking ball just missing inside. Now 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And that's what the Braves have. They have a team that they're going to swing and miss. You see this off-speed pitch in off the plate. But they have guys who can hit the ball out of the ballpark.
3-2, got him with a breaking ball. Back-to-back strikeouts for Strasburg to end the 6th. He works back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings.
Baseball game break. David Price started the season with a pair of losses, and despite this home run by David Ross that tied the score at 1, looks to be back to his Cy Young form. Price has struck out 6 over 5 innings. How about the Giants and Cubs on a cold afternoon at Wrigley? But Pandas love the cold. World Series MVP Pablo Sandoval's 6th inning single not only runs a modest hitting streak to 7, it gives the Giants a 2-0 lead as we send you back to D.C. and Justin and Eric.
All right, thanks so much, Matt. Justin Kutcher, Eric Harrelson, Ken Rosenthal here at Nationals Park in a 2-1 ball game. And Steven Strasburg's day is done as Roger Bernardina will come and pinch hit for him here, leading off the 6th inning. Zach Duke warming up in the bullpen for the Nationals. Francisco is in at third base with Bernardina at the plate. Shows bunt, takes the first pitch for a strike. Just 1 at-bat for Bernardina this year. Breaking ball foul tipped, and it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes.
Well, Tim Hudson's been working ahead of the hitters all day long. It's allowed him to keep his pitch count down. Coming into this inning, he had 62, 64 for the game now. And that's something that the Washington Nationals pride themselves on doing. And that's elevating the opposing pitcher's pitch count.
0-2, got him swinging. Strikeout number 3 on the afternoon for Tim Hudson. We came in talking about this pitching matchup. We've known about it for a little bit over a week, and everybody was so excited to see Tim Hudson against Steven Strasburg. And what do the two do, or what have they done so far?
Well, you look at the hits, not that much difference. The thing is, all the scoring been around the long ball, the home runs. A mistake here, a mistake there. Tim Hudson has been much more pitch efficient. Now, Steven Strasburg just did not have command of his stuff. But at the end of the day, it's a 1-run ball game, and he's kept his ball club in the game. 1
ball, no strikes here to Denard Span, 1 for 2. That Slowing outside with a changeup. 2 balls and no strikes. Span singled back in the first, struck out in the fourth. The 2-0 from Hudson. Fastball in there, 2-1. Span was doubled off at second base in that first inning on that line drive by Jason Worth. 2-1. Hit to right field. Hayward goes back a couple of steps, 2 away here in the 6th. So you think about Span getting doubled off at second as we take a look at Tim Hudson's day.
Well, he's had a real nice day so far. Happy birthday to son Cade, who turns 8 today. But he's been doing it at the bat, out on the mound. Again, for me, the most impressive thing, although getting a hit off Steven Strasburg is pretty darn impressive.
Two hits off of Strasburg.
Well, that's true. The thing about him, though, is his ability to tame this Washington offense and to limit his pitch count. Only one time this year, one time so far, has a starting pitcher got into the 7th inning against the Washington Nationals. He has an opportunity to do it today.
And again, he is 2-0 in his career against Strasburg. No balls and 2 strikes quickly against Jason Worth, but Denard Span was doubled off at second base in the first inning. Then we had Dan Uggla cut down at the plate off that single by Hudson in the second. So you just kind of wonder, how would this game go with, I'm not going to say a base running error by Uggla, but certainly one by Span.
Yeah, Span just misread that, and I think where the problem there is, you just got to know where you are in the lineup. You're on second base, nobody out. Your number 2 hitter's up. Zach Duke there getting loose. He'll be coming in. Got the middle of the lineup coming up. You know, in that first inning when Denard Span got doubled up. That's where he'd like to have it back. He was just a bit too aggressive.
2 balls, 2 strikes here to Worth. 2 outs in the 6th. The 2-2 from Hudson. Ground ball, shortstop, Ramiro Pena. And another 1-2-3 inning worked by Hudson. We are through 6 complete here in D.C. It's 2-1 Atlanta. Baseball presented by Chevrolet. We go to the 7th inning here at Nationals Park. A 2-1 ball game. A new pitcher on the hill here for the Washington Nationals. It is Zach Duke, the left-hander, replacing Steven Strasburg.
The lone left-hander out of this Washington Nationals bullpen. Coming in here to try and keep this game close. And the problem so far, and again, it's very early, small sample size, but the Nationals bullpen just hasn't been as good as they would like so far.
First pitch to Pena is lofted out to center field, one away here in the 7th. Justin Kutcher alongside Eric Karros. We've got Ken Rosenthal down the field. And Eric, when we came in talking about this pitching matchup with Strasburg and Hudson, Hudson's really been impressive. Strasburg, as we talked about, didn't have his best stuff, but got through 6.
Well, both of the guys have battled, and both of them demonstrated different ways to navigate themselves through a lineup. I mean, Strasburg clearly did not have his command today at all, but he was still able to limit this Atlanta ball club to 2 runs, and both of those runs unearned. Tim Hudson has just been dynamite today, working ahead of the hitters, throwing strikes, staying away from any type of big inning. We still got a ways to go, though. You got 3 more innings, and this National Ball Club is explosive.
And he's 2 for 2 at the plate. I wonder if he's sad to see Strasburg leave the game. He was having such great success. A 2-1. Foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. For more on Tim Hudson, let's check back in with Ken.
Tim Hudson, if you remember, guys, last year was coming off back surgery. Well, this offseason, for the first time in a while, he had a normal offseason, a normal time of training, and it's made a huge difference for him. His velocity is up. His stuff overall is crisper, even as he approaches his 38th birthday. And he told me the difference is like night and day.
And he has looked very good in this one. Worked to 1, 2, 3, 6th inning. Hitting here in the 7th. And Duke's fastball missing inside. Now 3 balls and 2 strikes. We didn't lie when we told you he was a good hitting pitcher. Popped up. Shallow right field. Espinosa coming over, makes the catch. 2 away here in the 7th.
Espinosa doing a nice job of getting over there, fighting the sun, staying with it. We saw Dan Uggla make a great catch earlier in the game, battling those same elements. It was against Bryce Harper up at the plate, so even more important to get the bat out of his hands.
B.J. Upton, first pitch fastball, misses low and outside. Pulled foul. Major League Baseball and People magazine are looking to salute our nation's finest 30 veterans and military service members. One to represent each Major League Baseball team will be recognized at the 2013 MLB All-Star Game in New York City. To nominate, go to tributeforheroes.com. 2 balls and a strike now to B.J. Upton with 2 outs in the 7th. Duke's 2-1. Inside, now 3-1. On the ground to third base, Zimmerman makes the play, and a 1-2-3 inning work by Duke here in the 7th. Time to stretch him out here in D.C. It's 2-1 Atlanta. Scott's the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball, and by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Thomas Jefferson wins the president's race. You know, I took a picture with Teddy the other day. I was hoping to bring him some luck. He's had one win in his career.
That's one thing you can count on. He's not going to win.
Bryce Harper will lead things off here in the 7th against Tim Hudson. First pitch fastball's outside for ball 1. A new addition this year, William Taft, with the president's race. Backdoor breaking ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tim Hudson with just 76 pitches so far. Been very economical. Had a 6-pitch inning, had an 8-pitch inning. High and outside with the off-speed pitch, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Bryce Harper.
Well, and this will be the real test. 3, 4, and 5. Each hitter has seen him twice. You know, he's up getting to that 80-pitch number, and all these guys with one swing of the bat can hit it out.
3 balls and a strike now to Harper, who's 0 for 2, struck out and popped out in foul territory on the nice play by Dan Ugla. 3-1 to Harper. You think he's looking for a fat one here?
You're looking for something. You see Jordan Walden getting loose, which last night.
Right back to Hudson. Very good athletic pitcher, makes the play. 1 away. Now it's time for the Just for Men Auto Stop Foolproof Stat. Bryce Harper, Miguel Cabrera, most home runs in the team's first 10 games as a 20-year-old or younger. And if he could follow a career path that Miguel Cabrera has had, well, he will have a very nice career.
Yeah, Bryce Harper obviously getting off to a great start. And I think more than anything that the expectations, too. That's something that Cabrera didn't have to deal with. Harper's handled everything extremely well up to this point.
Harper, of course, was on the cover of Sports Illustrated as a 16-year-old. Tom Verducci wrote that piece. Miguel Cabrera made a name for himself in the 2003 World Series, going deep off of Roger Clemens.
Shoot, he made a name for himself in the 2003 NLCS, going deep in the first inning against us when I was with the Cubs. 3-0 before we even got in the dugout. Ugh.
Zimmerman's behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes here to Hudson.
Now, I don't think you can say enough about what Tim Hudson has done so far today. Again, you know, I said it earlier, I thought there had been one guy that got into the 7th inning against the Nationals, but no pitcher, no starter has gone into the 7th inning against this ball club this year. Tim Hudson just navigated his way through this lineup. You know, outside of the 1st and 2nd inning, hasn't had any real trouble. As you mentioned, 2 base hits. But he's had total command.
Fastball is up high. 2 balls and 2 strikes now the count to Zimmerman. Adam LaRoche on deck. Braves leading 2-1 here, bottom of the 7th. The 2-2. Hard hit ground ball to short. Pena makes it look easy. 2 away. The MLB Fan Cave is back. Some stars have made their appearances. Here are the Padres and what they did with Anchorman.
Now, brown cow.
I had ribs for lunch. That's why I'm doing this.
I look good. I mean really good.
Unique New York.
Fun fact for the kiddies. The Tony Gwynn statue outside Petco Park is actually filled with chocolate sauce.
Follow at MLB Fan Cave on Twitter and like on Facebook. You can check out all the latest cave happenings at MLBFancave.com. Always like seeing these guys have some fun. And speaking of Anchorman, the Dodgers, after the brawl the other night with the Padres, they tweeted out a little reference to Anchorman by saying, "Stay classy, San Diego."
It'll be interesting to watch that series. Carlos Quentin charging Zach Greinke. Zach Greinke ending up on the disabled list, a broken clavicle. I believe he'll have surgery today. But they have a 3-game series coming up Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in LA.
2 balls and a strike here to LaRoche. 0 for 2 with 2 ground outs. A 3-6-3 double play. And he grounded out to second base. High and outside, 3 balls and 1 strike. I was in college when Pedro Martinez was pitching at the beginning for the Red Sox, and it was a scene to be at his games. Today, 41,992, the 5th largest ever regular season game. Why? Because Strasburg was on the mound, and Hudson, he's out dealing him right now with the count 3-2 here in the 7th with 2 outs to Adam LaRoche.
Really a great place to watch a ball game. Nice atmosphere.
The 3-2 from Hudson. Ripped down the right field line. Hayward goes over and makes the catch. What a play by Jason Hayward. And Tim Hudson will wait for him to give him a high five. That just, whew, that's a pretty one. Hudson says thank you very much. The guy who makes the great defensive play to end the inning leads off the next half inning. Jason Hayward, a Gold Glove winner last year. How about the play against Adam LaRoche?
Well, this ball is scorched. It's got double written all over it. But we talked about Jason Hayward and his ability to contribute, even though he's not putting up great offensive numbers. Last night, a couple walks, the great hustle down to second base, and Ryan Zimmerman launched that throw into right field. And then right there, in a one-run ball game, he makes a great diving play.
A new pitcher on the hill here for the Nationals. It is Henry Rodriguez. A 7.71 ERA in 2 1/3 innings. And this bullpen, which was supposed to be a strength for Washington, the worst bullpen ERA thus far in the majors. And the first pitch fastball to Hayward is in there for a strike. And I realize it's a very small sample size. It's very early on. And most likely they'll turn it around, but that is surprising right now about this team.
Well, it is surprising just because of the arms you have down in that bullpen and the fact that a lot of these guys have been in the closer role.
Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. Hayward was hit by a pitch back in the first and 2 flyouts to center field. Two, spoiled foul. Stays no balls and 2 strikes. Jason Hayward's not your typical 2-hole hitter. You know, 6'5", 240 pound lefty. Two, fisted foul again.
But he provides a ton of problems for the opposing team, especially if that leadoff guy is a threat to steal, as B.J. Upton is. And then you see a lot of fastballs. And Hayward, the ability to drive the ball out of the park anywhere.
Another 0-2 from Rodriguez in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And you wonder what this Braves lineup will look like when you get Upton and Hayward starting to swing the bat like everyone knows they're capable of, and Andrelton Simmons and what he's going to do when he starts hitting, and then you get Brian McCann back and you've got Gaddis there. There are some options for Freddie Gonzalez with this Braves team.
Well, and you've got to have depth. There's no question. You have to have depth. You have to provide your manager with options. When Frank Wren, the general manager, has done a great job of constructing this ball club. You have a ton of options offensively. Your bullpen is probably the best in the game. And then you're talking about your starters, who you may not have the dynamic #1 guy, but you have guys that are very good. And, you know, Tim Hudson has done a phenomenal job today.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Still the count here to Hayward. Broken bat. Soft line, drive to second, caught by Espinosa, 1 away.
You know, and I think going back 1 step to this Braves team, and we're talking about the pitching, and you see this one just gets in on Hayward's hands. But going back to the Braves pitching, I mean, that's what they were known for in the 90s. And, you know, you talked about their pitching coach, Leo Mazzoni, but really, you know, the one constant now is Roger McDowell.
Right.
And he really has done a phenomenal job with this staff. And he doesn't talk about all the things he's done and all the accolades. But this staff, year in and year out, has been as good as any.
Justin Upton behind the count, no balls and 1 strike. 0 for 3, reached in the error back in the 3rd, scored. A 2-1 ball game here in the 8th. 1 ball, 1 strike. And as far as the Braves pitching staff is concerned, you said the bullpen may be the best in baseball right now. ERA wise, it is the best in baseball. 1.44 ERA. Opponents hitting below 200, and there is Roger McDowell.
Ironic, Roger played for Davey Johnson back in the New York Mets days. Reliever for a number of teams, Phillies, the Dodgers. Known as sort of a prankster, you know, when he played, but when you got out on the hill and between the lines, he was dead serious. And, you know, that's one of the things as a pitching coach, you talk to these pitchers on this staff, and they'll tell you to a man that, you know, he has helped each and every one in some certain way.
8th year as the pitching coach here with the Braves. The 3-1 from Rodriguez misses outside. Ball 4, a 1-out walk issued to Upton. That snaps a streak of 11 straight retired by Nationals pitchers. Evan Gaddis will walk to the plate. Gaddis, the difference right now in this game, that 2-run home run back in the 3rd inning. Off of Steven Strasburg, a 96-mile-per-hour fastball that he turned on and hit over the bullpen in left center field. He's a catcher now. He was a janitor, was a cook, a ski lift operator, a housekeeper at a hostel. I think this is the best job he's had. I'm just going out on a limb right now to say that.
Well, he's pretty good at this one.
Look over to first. Let's go back to Ken. Ken, what more do you have on Evan Gattis for us?
Well, Justin, his Twitter avatar is a classic. It's a photo of his ID from when he was a janitor for Jan Pro Cleaning Systems in the late 2000s. This was during his wandering, soul-searching phase, and he worked for the company with his brother, and they cleaned up at Datamatics Global Services in Dallas.
Upton tries to steal the base, and he's in there. Brian Onora, the second base umpire. Close play. Wilson Ramos, the good throw. Desmond, the tag. Let's see.
Yeah, Ramos gets his throw down there.
Yes.
It's not an easy pitch. Looks like he gets to the outer part of the bag. It's tough to tell when that foot hits. Tag made on the chest.
He's out.
Yeah, it looks like out there. Braves caught a break right there.
And by the way, you're hearing fans boo. They're not showing that replay on the big board, but there are TVs all around that have our feed, and they just saw it, and they're not happy. Second stolen base of the day for Justin Upton.
Well, let's see if the Braves can capitalize again on an opportunity with Gattis at the plate.
Down low 3-0, and you almost wonder how much respect has Evan Gattis earned now in this young season. You've got first base open, and you've got Dan Uggla on deck. I'd rather face Uggla than face Gattis.
Yeah, no question, especially 3-0 right now. You put him down at first base, and you go after Uggla, you get a strikeout or a double play. Again, Uggla, though, with one swing of the bat, can put 3 runs on the board if Gattis gets down to first.
3-1 the count. Ken, sorry to interrupt you before that stolen base.
Justin, no problem. So anyway, I asked Evan if he plans to stick with that avatar, and he said yes, but not so much as a reminder of his past, but because too many people think it's funny.
It is. It's great. 3-1 swinging, fouls it back. 3-2, and honestly, I'm surprised right now that Rodriguez is going after Gattis.
Yeah, well, not only is he going after him, but he's throwing fastballs to him. And I think if anything we've seen, he can hit a fastball.
Runner in scoring position, 1 out in a 1-run game, top of the 8th inning. 3 balls, 2 strikes here to Gattis.
Yeah, I got to go breaking ball.
And he walks him with a breaking ball.
Yeah, that's the right thing to do right there. You throw a breaking ball, you hope that Gattis expands the strike zone. And see, that's what's so interesting about a young power hitter. Well, he recognizes what the pitcher's trying to do right there. He's not expanding the zone. He knows he's probably not going to get a pitch to hit. Disciplined enough to lay off, turn it over to Dan Uggla.
Uggla 1 for 3. Takes the first pitch fastball inside for ball 1. Grounded out to third base his last time up on a nice play by Ryan Zimmerman. Fastball in the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ryan Matthews warming up in the bullpen here for the Nats. On the inside corner. 1-2 now the count here to Dan Uggla.
Well, see, he showed him a fastball. That was a breaking ball right there. He's ahead in the count, 1-2. You've got to expand Uggla's zone right now. Can't give him anything that he can get a hold of or drive. I'd go out of the zone, off the plate, outside.
The 1-2. He does go outside. Uggla doesn't bite. 2 balls and 2 strikes. What do you do now?
Again, you're still in control here. You've got to stay on the outer half of the plate. You don't want to go anywhere middle in where Uggla can hurt you.
The 2-2. Got him swing on a breaking ball.
That's the toughest pitch to hit in baseball. That's a backup breaking ball, because as a hitter you expect it to break away from you. But what happens is he doesn't get on top of it enough, and it just backs up. It doesn't really break. It just stays inside. And you see that swing that Uggla takes. It's an unconventional swing. Here we look pitch by pitch. Start him off with the fastball, then they get a fastball away, then boom, the breaking ball. You head in the count, try to put him away with a breaking ball, and then they're going back with the breaking ball. He wants it away. Thing backs up, and just Uggla, nothing he can do with it.
No balls, 1 strike now to Juan Francisco. Francisco 0 for 3. A fly out to center and 2 strikeouts. Ground ball, second base. Espinosa makes the play, and that'll do it here in the 8th. No runs on no hits, 2 men left on. We hit the bottom of the 8th. 2-1 Braves. Find new roads, and sponsored by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. Bottom of the 8th here in DC, 2-1. The Braves leading the Nationals. A couple of changes, a new shortstop in the game. Andrelton Simmons is playing short. Ramiro Pena moves from shortstop to third base. And a new pitcher on the hill. It'll be the left-hander for Atlanta, Eric O'Flaherty. 2-0 on the season, a 3.18 ERA and 5 2/3. He'll have to face due-up Ian Desmond, Danny Espinosa, and Wilson Ramos. Tim Hudson, all he did was go 7 innings, 4 hits, a run, no walks, 3 strikeouts through 90 pitches, and also picked up 2 hits as a hitter.
Yeah, really a great day on his son Cade's 8th birthday.
And if his bullpen hangs on, he'll go 3-0 lifetime against Strasburg.
Well, and I think that's, Freddie Gonzalez, you wonder, you say, whoa, Hudson's throwing so well, give him another inning. But this Atlanta Braves bullpen has been so dynamic that he has no problem turning it over to that group, especially if you can get to Kimbrel in the ninth.
Check swing. Did he go? The appeal to first. Bill Welke says he did not. 1 ball, 1 strike. The count to Desmond, who is 0 for 2. Grounded out to third base and popped out to third. field. Hayward shading his eyes. A much easier play than the last time we saw him make a great one. We've seen some defense in this game. Bryce Harper showing off that arm. Threw out Ugla at the plate. Ian Desmond diving stop up the middle. Ryan Zimmerman, little pirouette. And for Atlanta, Dan Ugla went a long way, made a sliding catch in foul territory. And that was the play of the game. Jason Hayward, the diving play in right field.
You know, the ironic thing, though, is we showed all those great defensive plays. This game would be a 1-0 national lead if Ryan Zimmerman was able to make a routine play at third base.
That's a great point. Espinosa, ground ball up the middle. Ugla behind the bag, throws wide, able to stay on as Johnson. Here comes Davey Johnson to argue with Bill Welke.
You know, it'll be interesting to see this highlight afterwards, because a lot of times what happens is just because the first baseman looks like he's rolling on, when he catches the ball, a lot of times he's still making contact. It just doesn't look graceful. It doesn't look clean. And we get a look here right now. Ugla fields the ball. Now, when he catches it, is he still in contact with the bag? Looks to me like he is still in contact with first base. Boom, we got it. He's out. And it's an easy out. He used to drive me nuts. I used to play first base, and in a situation where, oh, you're off the bag or you've come off, but it just looks bad.
Right.
But he clearly was on the base there.
2 outs now for Wilson Ramos. No balls and 1 strike. Ramos 0 for 2, ground out to short and a fly out to right. Ground ball off O'Flaherty. Here comes Ugla, the bare hand, and he makes the play. 1-4-3. Some more nice defense. And a 6-pitch inning for O'Flaherty, who is walking off slowly. We go to the 9th, 2-1 Atlanta. top of the 9th inning. A new catcher into the game, Kurt Suzuki, and a new pitcher into the game for the Nationals. That is Ryan Matthews. A 3.18 ERA and 5 2/3 on the season. And he will face Chris Johnson, Ramiro Pena, and the pitcher spot due up. Actually, it'll be Andrelton Simmons who came in on that double switch. First pitch swinging, ground ball foul off the bat of Johnson.
Real important to hold Atlanta right now because the Braves will bring in Craig Kimbrell, who just as a closer is absolutely unhittable. One run seems like a huge hill to climb. That's why you've got to hold him here.
Low and outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Kimbrell's numbers last year, so I went to the World Baseball Classic and they flashed his numbers up on the scoreboard. I couldn't believe it. You almost forget what he did. They were unbelievable. 1-1 is down low. He was 3-1 with a 1.01 ERA, 63 games, 62 2/3 innings. He struck out 116 and he walked 14.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing that people get all excited about, if he gives up a base runner or two, they're like, oh man, that's not very good. But it's just because he set a standard for himself. Just complete dominance.
I mean, think about that for a minute. 62 2/3 innings, 116 strikeouts.
No, that's video game stuff. I mean, it really is. And he's doing it at the highest level.
2-2, line base hit into left field. A leadoff single for Johnson. Time for a game break. Let's check in with Matt Veskers at the MLB Network studios.
Justin, Giants and Cubs, San Francisco's lead not so comfortable thanks to Deoner Navarro. The switch-hitting catcher had a pinch-hit home run from the left side yesterday. This afternoon, a 2-run job from the right side of the plate. Things are getting interesting at Wrigley. Back to you guys in D.C.
A 1-run game at Wrigley, a 1-run ball game here in D.C. And Ramiro Pena up after a leadoff base hit. And anticipating a bunt is Zimmerman at third base as the pitch misses up high for ball 1.
Yeah, I'd be thinking bunt right now because that run is so important. But on the flip side, if you're Freddie Gonzalez, you've got a kid up there that's swinging the bat well. Base hit today, the home run, the bunt hit last night.
Runner takes off from first, hit and run, sinking line drive. That'll drop in for a base hit. Back-to-back singles here for the Braves. First and second, nobody out in the 9th.
Well, the hit and run is on here, and Pena does a nice job of just slapping the ball right there. You see Chris Johnson unsure, so he's playing it safe. He's not trying to be too aggressive, not rounding it. Now you definitely have a bunt situation right here.
Andrelton Simmons hitting here in the pitcher spot in the order after the double switch in the bottom half of the inning. LaRoche charging from third base, and Simmons bunts it foul.
And this, as a young player, you have to understand that all you're trying to do is sacrifice the runners. That's why it's called the sacrifice. You're sacrificing yourself. Move the runners up. Don't try to get too fine and bunt for a base hit. Just get the ball down and do your job.
Johnson at second, Pena on at first base. The 0-1 for Matthews. Popped up, back to the pitcher. And everybody gets back to respective bases. So a failed sacrifice bunt attempt by Simmons, 1 away.
Obviously not what he wanted to do right there, but fortunate that the pitcher, Matthews, decided to catch that ball. Because the runners were relatively close to the bases, as they should, but Simmons was just upset and slamming his bat. He wasn't even heading down to first. Could have been an easy double play.
1 away now for B.J. Upton. Missing low and outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Upton 0 for 4. Now 3 for 37 to open the season. One of those 3 hits, a home run. last Saturday when he and his brother both went deep in the 9th inning. Missing inside. Now it's 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, we talked about earlier how Jason Hayward has impacted some games even though he hasn't been there offensively. Same way with this man last night. Drew a big bases loaded walk. Drive in that second run. Make it a 4-2 ball game.
Fouled away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Johnson at second base. Ramiro Pena on at first. 1 away, top of the 9th. Atlanta leading 2-1 over Washington.
Just so important to leave Johnson out there at second base, not let him score.
2-1 misses down low. Now 3 balls and a strike. The closer, Craig Kimbrell, warming up in the bullpen for Atlanta. In the air, shallow right field, going back and unable to make the play is Espinosa. Bases are loaded. 1 out, and Jason Hayward coming up. The first hit of the game for B.J. Upton, and there's his father Manny looking on.
Well, not hit that well, but well placed. Jason Worth holding out his glove like he was going to catch it, try to decoy the runners. Well, now you're looking for a strikeout, and that's what you're trying to do. Again, you just cannot give up that run. Hayward, not a guy that you're going to double up just because of his speed, and he's on the left side of the plate. Step closer to first base.
Hayward 0 for 3, hit by a pitch, 2 flyouts to center field, and a line out to second his last time up. First pitch is inside and low for ball 1. Ryan Matthews, the 4th pitcher of the game here for the Nationals. Fouled back, 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 runs on 8 hits and 1 error for Atlanta, 1 run on 4 hits and 1 error for Washington. Popped up, foul territory, out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Jason Hayward. Hayward made that great catch in right field, taking extra bases away from Adam LaRoche in the 7th. Now a chance to give his team some insurance. The 1-2 pitch. Just barely missed hitting Jason Hayward. That'd be the 2nd time in this game he'd be hit by a pitch. And that's maybe one of those where you kind of lean into it.
Yeah, just your natural reaction as a hitter, though, to get out of the way. But if you're going to get hit, that's the opportune time to do it. At least get an RBI out of it. The team scores a run.
2-2 again going inside. And now it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. We've already talked about the bullpen struggles for the Nationals so far this year. Bases are loaded. 1 away here in the 9th. The 3-2. Ground ball, second base. Espinosa to Desmond for 1. Back to first, not in time. Hayward beats it out. An RBI fielder's choice as Chris Johnson comes in to score, and it's 3-1 Atlanta. And just like you said, if you're not getting a hit, you could still make a difference in the game. His hustle down the first baseline.
Well, you're exactly right. It's still an RBI. The runner gets in. Now he's hustling all the way. Hit that pretty hard to second base. But he knows if he can beat that throw, that's another run. And again, with Craig Kimbrell coming in the game and having a 2-run, at least a 2-run lead, just not looking good for the Washington Nationals.
Justin Upton steps in. A look over at first base first to Jason Hayward.
And as we mentioned too, that this bullpen, Again, in the 7th inning, Zach Duke was 1-2-3. He threw well for the Nationals. But the 8th inning, Henry Rodriguez had a couple guys on walks. You know, not an easy inning. This inning, of course, the bases loaded with 1 out. You just can't keep living on the edge.
Justin Upton, 0 for 3, walked his last time up. Off to a very good start this year, has 10 RBIs, 6 home runs, and takes the pitch down low, 2 balls and no strikes. Pena on at third base, and Hayward at first. The 2-0 for Matthews. Big swing by Upton. He was looking for home run number 7 on that swing.
He's setting on fastball, but this is up out of the zone, and again, tough to catch up to. That's what made Evan Gaddis' home run earlier in the game against Steven Strasburg so remarkable. 96 out of the zone up.
2-1, ground ball. Zimmerman backhand throws to second, much like last night. Today he gets the out. A run does score. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Braves leading the Nationals 3-1. Coverage of Sprint Cup Series racing begins tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And if David's watching right now, he's happy because his Braves are leading the Nationals 3-1 as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. And that means in a safe situation, they've got their closer, Craig Kimbrell, on the mound. And Kimbrell, so far this year, 5 innings, 5 saves. Perfect 5 for 5, and he'll face a pinch hitter in Chad Tracy. And the first pitch fastball in the inside corner for strike 1.
Well, and Chad Tracy, a little bit of history with Kimbrell, 2 for 4 lifetime. But you look up and down this lineup of the Nationals, and predictably so, not a lot of success against Kimbrell.
Good cut by Tracy. Behind the count now, no balls and 2 strikes. Braves pitching has retired 10 in a row and 20 of the last 22. In the air to right field. Hayward going back, looking up. He can't see it, and he's able to find it. Wow.
Again, we can put that under the heading of doing something to help your ball club out when you're not feeling good at home plate. And you can see by the way he goes after it, I've got it, I've got it. Now he loses it in the sun. You just got to keep looking. Hopefully it comes out of the sun. It is one of the most helpless feelings because as a fielder, you've got to beat on it, then it completely disappears. You're still looking up. You hope it comes out before it just hits you flat in the forehead.
Denard Span steps to the plate. His job right now is to just get on base, bring that tying run to the plate for the Nationals. 1 for 3, single back in the first, a strikeout and a flyout. Pulled foul. Watch out, Ken. Hey, Ken got the foul ball down there. Nice work, and gave it to a fan.
Well, it's so important.
That was as close as it gets, guys.
You're sweating now, Ken.
I once had the microphone crushed, but that was a little closer even.
The 1-1 to Span. In the air to left field. Justin Upton retreating. He's able to make the play, and 2 outs now in the 9th. Time for the King play of the game, brought to you by Burger King, where taste is king. Was Evan Gattis turning that 96-mile-per-hour high fastball for a 2-run home run in the 3rd.
Well, again, it's one thing that he hit a Steven Strasburg fastball out of the ballpark, but the fact that it was a couple inches out of the zone up high, I mean, that's very tough to catch up to when it's 90 miles an hour, let alone 96 or 97. Just shows you how short and compact that swing Evan Gattis has.
2 away, and Jason Worth steps in. 1 for 3, single back in the 4th. First pitch is foul, 0-1. The producer of today's game is Larry Lancaster. The director is Jonathan Evans. The associate director is Eric Billigmeyer, and the associate producer is Paul Marmero. Our technical producer is Dan Rotante. The technical director, Josh Miller. The pregame show produced by Ethan Kleinberg, directed by Mark Deaver, and the coordinating producer is Mike Connor, and our statistician is Ed Sfida. 3-1, bottom of the 9th. 2 outs, the 0-1 to Worth. No balls and 2 strikes. Atlanta looking to make it 8 in a row to improve to 10-1 on the season. And Kimbrel trying to make it 6 for 6 and save opportunities. The 0-2. Missing inside with the off-speed pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. There was a lot of talk about the Braves and who they've beaten so far to get to this mark. Well, if they take the first 2 out of 3, that's impressive. And that's what they do. On the slider, Worth goes down looking, and Atlanta takes the first 2 games of this series. They win last night 6-4 and 10, and they win here 3-1. 3 runs on 8 hits and 1 error. Hudson with the victory. Strasburg the loss. Kimbrel with the save. For Eric Karros and Ken Rosenthal, I'm Justin Kutcher saying so long. Let's go to Matt Vasgersian in the studio.